Before we get this thing started, let me tell you guys a little bit about Metify. Metify is a site that helps you get better at the games that you love and kick more ass. They have coaches from around the world that will help you get on a top level to where you can finally learn to stop getting bodied by all these kids online. If you want to learn things like CSGO, League of Legends, Smash, other fighting games, it's all there. They have plenty of amazing options for you to pick from, including me for Smash. So if you guys are interested in getting coached by me, please go link at my link down below and we'll get something set up. Yo, what's up, Vendetta?
What's up, man? What's going on?
Yo, he got the good mic. I hear you clear as day. Okay, let's go. Not much, bro. So I wanted to start off by just asking about, like, what were you feeling whenever you were first going into SWT, man? Like, what was your prep work? Because I was watching you, and it was very clear that you did some prep work for a couple of matchups, mainly Diddy. Like, I definitely felt like that one was well studied. So, like, what was your ritual to get into the right headspace to just get into the competitive mindset you needed to deal with this Wi-Fi meta?
I mean, before the whole thing started, they posted the seeds, and I was 17th. So, in my mind, I wasn't exactly on the optimistic side of I could qualify. You know what I mean? That was really the only thing I wanted to do was just qualify.
Yeah.
So, just having that I guess that 17th seed right in my face, it's just it didn't really put me down, but it set myself up for more of like a challenge. I would say, it made that goal much more, I guess, maybe much more hungry for the goal. So, I mean, aside from that, when I saw, I got out of pools and I made it to, top 32 winners, I said, I looked at the bracket, I said, there's Gabe, there's the Rob matchup. I'm actually good. I'm really good at the Rob matchup. I was like, okay, he's number 1 seed, but I mean, like I said, I'm good at the Rob matchup. I'll take out, any Rob I need to, no matter who they are, right? That's just how I feel with my confidence. So I saw the Rob, I saw the Diddy, and, going back to what you said about, the Diddy prep, I used to play Tweak like every week. Not even just every week. It would be like, it's like multiple days a week. I just grind with him and the Diddy matchup. So I was already aware of really how to approach that matchup. Especially, the thing is, I would always play Ken in that matchup. I would always play Ken whenever I grinded with Tweak. And I knew Ryu was better in the matchup, and even Terry. I knew they were both better than Ken in the matchup. But playing Ryu really just, I guess, set the mindset of, if I'm playing at a disability, then I know that when I play with, the proper character, that it's going to be a lot better in the long run. So, I wasn't really worried about the Diddy matchup, but I did surprisingly good with the first 2 games with Ken, but he started adapting, and I said, okay, let me just bring out the right card, and then took that out, did what I had to do, bam, things like that. Then there's like Yaz and Esan. Like Yaz, I know I feel I'm really good at the Ike matchup. The thing is about Ike online, I'm not saying Yaz is online Ike, of course. Yaz is amazing. Like, I know this dude is gonna make waves offline. For me personally, I have a reactionary playstyle.
Yep.
So when it comes to trying to parry things, which I'm surprised I even do online. When it comes to trying parrying things, that's my specialty. I just love to parry because I know I'm aware of all the reward Shotos get off of it. It's busted, so
it's very
I'm gonna abuse it if I can. So it was really hard because Yes's timings with the nairs, they were so quick. It was just so difficult to try and parry anything he did. So I had to just play so careful. It just made approaching a lot harder, which I did notice that get a little antsy with the approaches, but but that's the thing. I did that intentionally, right? I knew I didn't have to. I did that intentionally because I want to kind of challenge myself. I want to be able to just not only play the patient game, even though I could have. Playing patient like that from center stage, like that's optimal. There's not much you can do about that except approach. But when I give myself the challenge of approaching like that, it sets like it sets like a I don't know. It sets the mindset of, if I can do it from center stage, then I can do it up close as well. I can dominate both areas of the field. And if I can do that, if someone can do that, whether it be me or any other Shoto or any other character or player, there's that extra bit of comfort, for when it comes to playing, in a game. You have it in the optimal zone, and you also have it in the risky zone. Like there's no challenging you at that point. You got it. And then, I guess, with ESAM, like me and Isam we go back. We go way back. Like I know a lot of the Shotos like to keep up with our whenever we play our sets and matches.
I just call it a rivalry at this point, man. I'll just call it what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, when I saw that ESAM made it to winners finals, I really thought like, I probably could take this tournament, huh? So, and just to not to my surprise or anything, I did end up taking the tournament. I fought the Pika, and it seemed like ESAM, compared to when we first fought, he definitely had a better understanding of the matchup and really where to work. And I knew, as a Shoto main fighting Pika, we're kind of limited to our movement and our options of the matchup, so we have to play very, patient and specific. Ken could do it, If Ryu can play a certain way, Ken can play a certain way as well. It's just Ryu is much more, proficient in these areas, so that's why Ryu is the better pick in my opinion. I did want to bust out the Terry. I really wanted to bust out the Terry. For the fans, and just because like I really, I could take a game off or whatever. But I didn't take out Terry kind of as like a message. And what I mean by that is I think Terry probably does the best out of all three when it comes to Pika.
I agree.
Rats in general, yeah.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. But what I mean by a message is that people, the Smash community in general, kind of just look down on our characters. There's kind of this like mixed feelings, It's like either the Shotos are really busted or they're very bad mid-tier characters, right? Mm-hmm. But I could have put out Terry, but if I stay Ryu, the quote-unquote low tier, right? Whatever people say, what are they gonna say then? Like I get it's online, right? People might be very dismissive of my performance, and that's okay. I'll have to prove them wrong when I go back offline. That's very much fine. But if people really pay attention and analyze my playstyle and my gameplay, there's not a single thing online about it. I'll put it like that. You can really tell that, I take my time and I just play as proper and patient as I can. There's nothing online about it. But I digress, So yeah, that's what I mean by sending a message. Like, I can play Terry and have a better chance, but I can also just play Shotos and show the world, like, how these, the true potential of these characters, These characters are amazing, and, these characters are only going to rise from here. Not just from me, but other players, like, like Nito, Jivo, Takara, Munikin, Chadru, Andres FN. I can go on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of amazing talent.
So many, man. It's just so much out there. We're only going to go up from here, And this, this tournament win just proves that these characters, the world has to watch out for us, for real.
So this is the way I look at it, man. I don't know if you followed like Smash all the way back in like the Melee days, but look at what happened with the Peach players back in Melee. A lot of people originally thought those characters were really bad, but the thing is the way that Peach played was very different from the majority of Smash characters because of how she floated and stuff like that. And it took a while for that character to develop. That's what I've always believed ever since Smash 4. Smash 4 is whenever Ryu first came in, but he didn't play like the Shotos do now. They have a very different style and a different way of playing the game, and it's going to naturally take that a longer time to develop. Now that we're about 2 years into the game, a little bit farther than that, we have that now. We're starting to see the results that people have, because there's the players that, are still like super aggressive and don't really understand Ken or Shoto's game plan in general. That is the mass population of players who play the character, and then you have the actual top players like you and everybody else. And now people are starting to see the potential. So that's pretty much what it is. A lot of people are starting to see their assumptions were wrong. So I strongly agree with that. And the thing is like I'm also noticing is like, like your whole like you wanted to prove people wrong about the Shotos and stuff like that. I can also relate to that because that was the whole reason I started my channel. It's the whole reason I started playing Shotos, the same reason you're doing it, and now you're just kind of proving it at a top level, and it's kind of nice to see.
Yeah, it's exciting, as doubtful as people are, and sometimes there was a point in my Ultimate career where I thought maybe Shotos aren't as good as I think, or maybe everybody was right. But if I have to think such a pessimistic matter, like I'll never get anywhere where I want to be, and so I just have to keep believing in myself and the characters, and that's kind of where I am today. I mean, even like pre-COVID or pre-quarantine, like I was starting to produce, pretty decent results. Like the last big thing was Clash of the Carolinas 3. That was a C tier. I got 4th, right? But that was right before the quarantine happened, so I wasn't really able to really keep prospering with those results. However, during the quarantine, I wasn't lazy about it. I know we're trapped indoors and everything, but I just took it upon myself to really just keep training myself and really just focusing on the things that really needed to be fixed. It's like, even if we don't have offline, and online such an intolerable, trash environment, it's like we still have all the tools necessary to really just push our game and push the meta for these characters and as players. There's no excuse. There's people can say what they want about us and how they feel about us as players and characters, but at the end of the day, only we can, it's like only we can really just put ourselves out there and really prove ourselves. And the thing is, we really don't even have to prove ourselves. You know what I mean? People can think what they want. That's fine. You don't have to prove anything. But if you are going to prove anything, then that's pretty cool too. Let's put it like that.
Nah, dude, there's nothing wrong with shutting up haters. It's the best thing ever. Like, whenever someone tells me, lol, just camp, and they get stuck in the corner for an entire stock, it is the most satisfying shit, my guy. I live for that shit, man. I totally get where you're coming from. Because, like, they want to believe these characters are not viable. They want to believe that these characters' neutrals are bad and that they're easily, like, counterplayed and stuff like that, till they fight a good one. The moment they fight a good one, they literally have no idea what the hell's going on because they've made the assumption that, oh, their neutral's bad. We can just space around them with a sword and stuff like that. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna whip punish you with fireball 90% of the time, and you're gonna be wondering why the hell you can't get in. So, like, I totally get where you're coming from. It is super satisfying to prove people wrong. Like I said, it's one of the main reasons I started my channel. So, like, I totally get where you're coming from. And not to mention, man, like you getting 7th on Georgia PR was definitely a very big deal. Because Georgia, in my personal opinion, right now is the strongest region in the States. I really believe that. Because not only for the fact that you guys have, like, who your top 10 is on the PR, the fact of just the overall skill pool that's in Georgia in general. Like, these kids nowadays, they don't even know who Reflex is, bro. They don't know who the heck, like, Lord Mix is. Like, all these sleepers that are still going to be coming out of the woodwork and stuff like that. So, the fact that you have that as your stomping ground, I really feel like you are in a prime position to not just become like dual Shoto main, probably the best Shoto player in general, just because you have those kind of resources at your disposal. So how are you feeling about, like, I want to go ahead and, like, segue into another question. How are you feeling about going back into offline tournaments here recently? I mean, I don't know when you're planning on going back, but, I mean, I was going to ask you about that. What's your plan?
Oh, dude, I've been asked this a bunch, and I'm getting my second vaccination tomorrow, actually, funny enough.
Okay.
So, and I know there's that 2-week waiting period. Hopefully I don't get dunked on by this shot, but if it happens, it happens. We're gonna get through it. But after that 2-week period, sometime in June, I want to try and get out there. But I'm not sure if I'll be like a regular attendee like I was prior to COVID. We'll see. But I'm definitely gonna try and go to one sometime in June.
Okay.
But transitioning to offline, I know I'm gonna have to get used to it because playing online for like over a year, that's just muscle memory at that point. But I don't think in my opinion, I don't think I'm gonna have like trouble with it. I think I'll transition relatively quickly. And when I do, oh dude, I know that I'm going to be kind of cracked offline like that. I don't usually gas myself up. I don't usually gas myself up at all, but I know how much better I am offline as a player. Online, it's not a good feeling because I have a reactionary playstyle.
Yeah.
And not to mention, command inputs become annoying online, and just having those combo routes, especially with like Ken, it becomes very very frustrating when inputs drop simply because of the online environment. But as soon as offline hits, I'm not saying I'm not going to win I'm going to win tournaments all the time or anything like that, but I will say this: I expect to place higher, and I expect to go up on the PR. Now I don't know if they're already in like process of like doing the PR, because if that's the case, locals have been going on for quite some time now. I wouldn't be like either I wouldn't be ranked, or I'd be ranked like really low.
I think they had like 2 or 3 weeklies so far in Georgia, something like that. I feel like that's more than enough time for you to definitely catch up. I feel like you definitely can still make PR, honestly.
Maybe. I know there before I'd be able to go, it'd be about maybe 3 weeks or so, maybe even 4, because I just gotta I gotta wait that time period, and Lord knows, like, who knows when in June exactly I'm going to go, but I will be going sometime in June. But yeah, I'm really excited for offline, dude. I've missed it so much. That's the pinnacle of of who I am as a player. That's where I belong, and especially when in November when that regional qualifier happens, or the regional finals, we face off against the Northeast. That's gonna be something. I'm just really excited. There's not a lot of words I have for it, because it's such an amazing, I guess, not only like an achievement, it's such an amazing like just feeling of you proved yourself. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best player of the Southeast. I don't feel that way. You know what I mean? I don't think I am. That's just it's just happenstance. I had somewhat of like a good run. The odds were in my favor, and I made it work. But when it comes down to it, like I still am one of the best in the Southeast, and I still am one of the best in the U.S. You know what I mean? And and I'm ready to just keep proving that even offline. That's where I'm going to really shine. That's how I feel.
I can definitely see you popping off on offline. So here's the game plan, bro. Here it is. So you're gonna go and you're gonna like go and fuck up Georgia and all that good stuff. You're gonna save up for a computer and you're gonna get Yuzu so that you can actually get some good practice when you're home as well. That's the game plan, right? Say yes.
Well, now that offline locals are becoming more apparent, it's like I wouldn't really need to use online as much. So I mean, I don't really see the problem with using Yuzu if I'm going to be a regular offline. I just have to like get the equipment for it and set up. But as I am now, like I'd have to get like an actual like good computer and like all that equipment and everything. So I can save up for all that. But sounds like a good idea. Yeah.
Homie, can you do me a huge favor and just pause for a second? Because fucking Zengane just came to my channel and gifted 50 fucking subs.
Holy.
What the actual fuck?
Dude, congrats. That is awesome.
Dude.
Holy.
Dude.
Yep. Dude, take your time.
I am sorry, bro. What the fuck, Zengane? Hello?
Take your time. What do you have to say about that? What do you have to say about it? How are you feeling right now?
Bro, how the fuck this turned to you interviewing me, man? God damn. Yo.
That's so, dude, congrats, dude. I'm happy for you. That's really cool.
God damn, bro. I don't even know what to say.
I do. Like, listen, I'd say, like, someone of your stature, dude, you've been amazing at, your labbing and your constant streams of just analyzation of not only Shoto players, but just general players all over the world of all skill levels, you know what I mean? And someone like you, man, I think you totally deserve something like this, honestly. And that's really cool of him,
Fuck, bro.
So, shout out to you, man.
Dude, thank you for that, Vendetta. That really means a lot, bro. God, dude.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely blown away right now. Guys, like, goddamn, he literally just, like, commandeered my stream right now just because I had all these questions, and they literally just went flying out the goddamn window. Hold on. I'm glad I wrote all of them down. Holy shit. Yo, Zengane, thank you real quick. I gotta thank these people real quick for being... Actually, no, that's like 50-plus people. If you guys got a sub, thank you guys so much, and welcome to the dojo. Holy shit. Yo, Zengade, you're godlike, bro. You're godlike, man. Holy fuck. All right. Back to the interview. Fuck me, man. Okay. Where do we even leave off, man?
We left off where you got 50 gifted subs.
Yeah, I got that part. Holy shit. Okay. So, I know where I want to go with this. So, yeah. The reason I asked about the Yuzu stuff and everything like that is because I do remember you mentioning before that you were super interested in playing, not playing, I mean, streaming eventually. Is that still a thing that you're wanting to do?
Oh, hell yeah. I really just, I want to, get out there and really just kind of, entertain and sometimes do like some labbing streams, see what we could just discover. Not that there's much to be discovered about Shotos. I mean, who knows what we'll discover in the future, but play around, arena battles, maybe some online tournament, maybe. Like, I kind of want to get away from that, but the content and entertainment purposes, man. It seems cool. I really want to connect with everybody, especially the Shoto community. Just in a different way. Like, I'm in Shoto Court. I'll be on Twitter sometimes, but I feel like you really can connect with your audience and just people in general of your community when it comes to Twitch streaming. So eventually, I do want to get that together and just make something happen along the lines in the future.
I really feel like you have it in you to make that happen. I mean, already you have you're a top talent that's already going to take you far. But I could easily see you pulling the same kind of numbers of what you see with riddles and stuff like that, because you're naturally really good at being entertaining, obviously through your gameplay and everything like that. And I mean, as long as you think outside the box, because a lot of people jump right on to start doing beer battles and stuff like that, and it'll take you far. But you got to think about your mind too, bro, because you're gonna be making bank, but holy shit, Wi-Fi will wear you down. So going back to Yuzu, I'm sorry, bro. I'm on the Yuzu agenda, bro. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. I understand.
All right. So I got another question for you. So let's talk Shoto Meta real quick, man. So I've always believed, and I'm sure you popped into a couple of my streams, so you probably know where I stand on a lot of this stuff. I've always believed the Shotos can work around just about any matchup as long as you do your research and you have the correct prep time. And this really shows at top level. For instance, whenever I would go, I'm sure you probably do this too. Whenever I'd go to a big stack tournament, I would go and I'd see who I'd be lined up against, and I'd do research on those matchups and stuff like that, look ahead, and be able to find out what to do. And normally Shotos always have a way of working around that. Would you say you agree with that? And would you want to expand on that at all? What is your prep work whenever you go to a tournament? Would you have a tournament ritual to get in the right headspace? How long do you prep ahead of time for a tournament? See, me personally, I prep a week ahead. Sometimes, depending if it's a big enough tournament, a couple more weeks ahead. What was your thing? What was your way of getting ready?
It's like you said, if you can see ahead of who's in your bracket, that's an advantage. It's being well prepared for not only the matchup, but mentally prepared as well, right?
Yeah.
Because if you go in and you sit down in the chair and you see your opponent hey, okay, and then you see who they pick, it's oh, okay, that's who you're gonna pick. Now, you may know the matchup or whatever it is, and you may be prepared, quote unquote, but you kind of have to process some things in your head on the fly. And what I mean by that is you can have a Joker player, right, who's just super patient, right, with his neutral, right, and if you're prepared before it, you'll be able to know how to really handle it. Whereas if you do, just go sit in the chair and start playing, and then you start seeing that there's this other Joker player that's hella aggressive. He just has this aggro play style. It's not something, I'm not saying you're not used to it, but it wasn't something you're very, expecting of, because, that's just different players with the same characters, they can have different play styles. So when you see that character and you see that name, okay, he plays this character, he plays this kind of way. Let me be prepared. And, specifically, when it comes to these cases, I don't really study on the matchup. I kind of just think about what it is that I have in my kit, with the Shotos, and how it can benefit me against certain characters,
Okay.
Yeah.
So So what you're saying is you don't necessarily think about the match. You think about what's the counter to whatever scenario you might be running into in the moment.
Oh yeah, 100%. Okay. And and it's especially against matchups I'm not too familiar with compared to others. Even if there's a matchup I'm not familiar with, let's just say Pirate Mithra. Okay. I think it's, for now at least, especially online, I think it's a bit difficult for me because having reactionary playstyle and then just getting abused so hard and disadvantaged, it can be really tough. But when I think about it, right, even though I don't know the matchup all too well, like I told you earlier, I think about the kit I have. So, it's not anything I discovered or anything, but when I think about the kit in our tools, our intangible disc strength, heavy up tilt, forward tilt, and the roundhouse kick, They all have intangibility, and they're extremely disjointed. And they beat out her aerials. They do.
Yeah.
Besides like maybe back air, because that's huge. They pretty much beat out all aerial approaches. So when I think about things like this, it makes it easier for me to to really gauge on how to approach the matchup and what to do effectively, in those scenarios. And it really helps out a lot, regardless if I don't know the matchup. Usually I can pull out the win because I'm very prepared of how to really use the counterplay with our kids. So yeah.
See, I like how you think, because I definitely understand where you're coming from there. That makes perfect sense. That's also a weird matchup that I've just not experienced at all. I've not really even experienced, like, the Steve matchup at all. Like, to be honest, I haven't even learned, like, the Min-Min matchup. The way I learned the Min-Min matchup was actually watching you fight Issa, and like, oh, you just literally just nair through that shit and roll behind them and they die. Okay, good to know. And they can't get off ledge for shit because they have no mix. So, that was, like, literally how I learned the matchup.